Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to Gvlogs on Roro Aviation. My name is Gvlogs, the first name. So I know that Roro has already done one of these, but I thought I was going to do one, just to get my perspective on taxi takeoff and landing as well. So I'm going to use a Ryanair Boeing 737-800, which is somewhere. There's going to be a trip report coming on this channel next trip we go on, which is going to be to Heathrow. Oh god. It's going to be the Heathrow. So, okay, I'm going to go to EIDW. Now, the first thing that I'd like to do is find the nearest, like the gate that's nearest to the airport, to the runway. So, I'm a crush liner, so I shouldn't really be going into Terminal 2. But you know what? Oh well, we're only in solo. So this seems to be close to 28 and 34. Let's say we're heading out that way, like to Shannon or to New York or JFK or America or whatever. Iceland even, we might go off 28. If we're going down to like Heathrow or pretty much anywhere else, we'd go off 34. That's the way I sometimes like to do it. So if you want to find that, you want to fly. Now, of course, we're just using solo right now, but we will of course be using like you will of course be using live. I just really couldn't be bothered to find an airport that had a live. And I don't like Heathrow really. And that always have that has a cockpit there. No, that has air traffic control. So I don't really like Heathrow because that always has it. So we're gonna calibrate first. So welcome to our thing. So what we first want to do is turn our seatbelt sign on or our strobe lights on, but we're gonna leave our landing lights off. Then we're going to request for a pushback. Obviously, that's not here, but we would be requesting for pushback. And to get pushback approved, you want to turn off both your engines. You want to go to MISC. You want to turn on your hood and start your pushback. Now you can see here, I think we're going to depart off of runway 28 today. Not sure where we'll be going. Maybe to Shannon or something. Or Iceland. We could be going up to Iceland, Oslo or something. I don't think Oslo is in Iceland. I think that's in Sweden. But you know what? Oh well. Currently 11:54 p.m. when I'm recording this. Try your best to stay on the taxi lines. I'm only in training server. Me and Roro are both only in training server, not expert server. So yeah, we don't have to 100% follow them. But if you want to make it a realistic flight, I'd recommend following them. So have our engines fully turned off? Yeah, both of our engines are fully turned off. So I'm going to keep down here. You want to turn on your engine 2 right now. I'm going to turn back in here. Turning in. I'm going to move you over this slightly, not that much though. Then if you're not getting much turn, you can move it fully, like stop it. But you might, push back a bit too far. Make sure to keep your eye on the nose wheel to make sure that you're not going off the taxi line. Then you want to put your parking brake on. So, after that you want to turn on engine 1. With that to turn on. As we're doing that, we're going to request a taxi to runway 28. So I guess I may as well. No, I'm not going to set a flight plan, but we'd be going up here, up past England, up here to Iceland. I'm not doing that today. I'm just showing you taxi takeoff and landing. As I said, I know I've already done this before, but you know what? Oh well, we're running out of video ideas. So, most of our engine on full. As you can see here, the more we put on a throttle, like let me just put pocket brake on, the more the engine goes up if you're new to the game. So we're going to take our parking brake off. We're going to test our spoilers. If you're using infinite flight packs, infinite flight passengers, and you have emergency set, you really want to test your spoiler. That's something you kind of need to do. I kind of have to do, because they do do emergencies. Kind of make sure you kind of want to keep your thumb on the throttle. Then you want to keep on switching to nose wheel. Turning in here, we've been given clearance. Keeping my thumb on the throttle at all times, as you guys can see. I'm keeping on the taxiway, close enough. You can see we're only going on 0 knots. If we're going to 3, not much is happening. If you guys didn't know, I'm free. You can actually move around the airport. Like I'm going here. Let me actually get inside the plane and see what's inside. Okay, that's the ground. You can see a pretty realistic bottom. Kind of disorientating. Okay, anything here. I'd say if you use like the A250 or something, you will see something. Of course, with this there is nothing, so we're gonna switch back. Now, come free again. Looks good, so we're gonna keep on moving. Of course, it's an aircraft there. We want to wait. We want to then request a frequency change. Obviously up to tower. I don't know why I keep on calibrating, but you know what, oh well. Once we get clearance to a frequency change, we would change our frequency to tower. Then we would, it kind of keeps on happening. I don't try to though. We would anyway switch over to tower. Then we would, when we get up to like that point right up there, we'd probably request a one-way crossing. We then want to slow down to make sure that we got permission to cross the one-way. So I send it somewhere around here. Request permission. Hopefully now they would have responded with, yeah, go on. Like, yeah, go on, you can cross the one-way. You then want to set your flaps once you're crossing the one-way. I'm going to go on flaps 25 today. And you want to be very careful, you know, keep your thumb on the throttle and on the, thing at all times. Just to get clearance, you want to ask to cross the one-way again. They're going to say yes. They'll most likely say don't send duplicate messages, but just to make sure you want to do that. So, and then once you're there, you finally lined up on the one-way and you have your flaps set. You don't want to test the spoilers one last time. Also want to test flight. So now that we're here, we want to we don't want to put a parking brake on. Now that we're lined up, we want to get past this 28 sign. And then we can take off. We then want to turn on our landing lights. And take a look at everything here. Everything here looks good. So, we're now going to go into takeoff. So, for our takeoff, you want to have your flaps set at about 25 degrees if you're using a Boeing 737. That's what I'm currently using right now for taking off in Dublin. Because it's not the longest of runways, let's be honest. Well, it's a long runway, but it's not the longest. You then want to check here to see if everything's okay. Master switch is on. Doors are all on. Seatbelts are on. Engines are on. You then want to get clearance from the tower. And then you want to set a rotation speed. My rotation speed today is going to be about 150 or 140 knots. I'm going to hit V1. I'm going to hit V1 at about 130 knots. That, if you did not know, V1 is where you cannot change your mind. You either have to abort or take off. That's your last chance to either abort the landing or to rotate. I'm now going to put my throttle on 50%. The takeoff and landing are one of the trickiest parts in aviation. You want to first put it on 50% throttle until you get up to about 50 knots or so. You might go a bit slowly at first, but it is okay. And then when you get about 20 knots, you want to speed up to about 65%. You then want to calibrate your device. You then want to speed up a little bit more to about 82 to 83%. You'll then hear kind of like a vacuum noise in the engine. Once you hit about 100 knots, you can then put it up. I'm going to put it up now. We are nearly at V1. If you want to make it proper, you want to keep your nose down until you take off. We're now at V1. We have to either take off or abort. Everything looks good, so it looks like we can rotate. We're going to pull our nose up slightly. As you can see here, we've now taken off. We want to make sure that the plane is climbing in the air. Once we find out the plane is climbing in the air, as it is right now, we use positive rate. After that, we bring our gear up. We then want to get up to about 2,000 to 3,000 feet before putting autopilot on. If you're flying a live cockpit plane, it is a lot easier. We want to make sure that we're keeping our speed maintained. Because a low speed equals a low climb equals a high stall. Now that we are at about 2,500 feet, we want to put our autopilot on, and if we're using navigation, we want to set our navigation. We then want to put our flaps out when we think it's ready. Slower first, but then faster and faster. So you want to go to about 10, then 2, then 1, then 0. Now we're going to do our landing. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a short final. It seems like today we're coming in on runway 10. Let's pause here for a second. We seem to be coming in very high. We need to slow the plane down.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
That was a very bad landing. You don't want to lead by example. So, once we're doing this, you want to keep your speed maintained. You want to keep your height maintained. These boxes will help you, will guide your way through.
100.
Once we get to about 20, we start our flare.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
It's not the greatest of landings, but it'll do. And it'll get you to the ground. There may be a bit of a crosswind. I'm just going to check. Yes, there is a bit of a crosswind. We're going to now put that on proper temperature. So there may be a bit of a crosswind to slow your landing down. Hopefully now it shall be a bit better. We now want to flare.
50.
It's not the best landing in the world, but it'll do. If you want to get to the ground safely, you want to do it. You want to have your speed in about 30% until you retard.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
It's not the greatest of landings, but it'll do to get you down to the ground. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe.